West Indies Cricket, Caribbean Cricket Podcast. West Indies Cricket, Caribbean Cricket Podcast.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another quick edition of the Caribbean Cricket Podcast. I'm on half of the Caribbean Cricket Podcast, Machel St. Patrick Hewitt, and this episode is just quickly looking back at, let's say, yesterday's. I mean, right now the time is just coming up 11:45 UK time. I went to bed this morning at 3 a.m. or maybe about 3:15. And I've literally just come in from the gym, and I was like, you know what, let me just quickly react to this morning / last night's game. And I'm going to maybe shock a few people here, because sometimes in West Indies cricket, everyone is so... And first things first, if you're somebody who's watching this who didn't actually watch the game, because sometimes I think you actually have to, not sometimes, a lot of the time, you actually have to watch the game to get the full context of how a game unfolded. So if you're somebody who's coming to watch this video having only either seen the highlights, or maybe you've woken up this morning and you've just looked at the scorecard, and if that's your approach and attitude towards this particular game, more than likely your gut reaction was to go, they lost again. And that's cool. You're well entitled to have that reaction. But I genuinely don't think that this performance was as simple as just saying they lost again. I actually think it was all things considered, I actually think it was a 6.5 out of 10 performance. So the reason why I say that is that it wasn't your standard L where West Indies are embarrassing, or they weren't competitive, or they weren't up to scratch, and it's just another L to a litany of L's. Up until the 48th over, I want to say, when Multi dropped Nawaz, Pakistan needed 27 off 17 balls. I think Nawaz then ran a single. And when I say, and this isn't, I'm not starting with Multi's drop to be like, and that was the be all and end all of the match, but I'm just saying when he dropped Nawaz, if that had been taken, Pakistan would have needed, let me just go find my if that had been taken, I think Pakistan would have been in a situation with a new batter come into the crease. I'm just going back to my tweet that I did when the drop happened, and I'll read it out to you lot, just so you can get a proper kind of analysis of what, or understanding of what I'm talking about here. So when Multi dropped Nawaz, this is what I tweeted: Multi drops an absolute sitter. Is that the game? Pakistan need 27 from 17. If Nawaz had, I think it was Nawaz who was on strike. If Nawaz had been taken at that point, with Pakistan needing 27 from 16, with a new batter come into the crease, even if we factor in for the fact that Blades then bowled a bad over, even if we factor in for that, right? I think it was actually 27. No, because they dropped him at the end of the over, right? But anyways, the point is, even if we factor in for the fact that Blades then bowled a bad over, with Nawaz out, when I say this was a sitter, people, if you're watching this and you haven't seen the highlights yet, go watch the highlights and just fast forward to the drop. It's the easiest, like, I can't even put into words how easy the chance was. It was so easy. That's almost why he dropped it. That's how easy it was, right? As in plenty of time to see it, just lobbed in the air, not going at any real pace, shelled it, right? And again, I'm not trying to blame Multi for the game. I'm more trying to paint the context that if that had been taken with a new batter coming in, with 27 runs to get, with 3 overs to go, and the fact that the pitch wasn't that easy to play on, I just wonder if West Indies would have won the game. And that's why I'm calling it a 6.5 out of 10 performance, because I do think there was fine margins in there. I think West Indies were probably 10 to 15 runs short. For those of you who joined me for the live watch along for the first innings up until the 40th over, I think at over number 40, we were something like 195 for 4. And I said, if you go back and watch the live and just fast forward to the point at which I logged off, I said West Indies need to add about another 100 runs. And I think that will probably make this super competitive. In the end, I think they added another 85 runs, which wasn't bad. I mean, that was a really good comeback given that they entered the last 40. I think it was 195. Yeah, when Hope got out, it was 204 for 5, I think it was. And it looked like we weren't even going to get up to 250 at that point. So there were obvious areas for improvement across the match, as there should be in any match, and as there should be for any team like West Indies that is slowly trying to improve, right? Let's look at the positives first. Evan Lewis, 60 from 62 balls. He was possibly, apart from Nawaz, he was probably the most fluent. And even Nawaz was scratchy at the beginning. So actually, I'd argue that Evan was probably the most fluent batter on the day. 60 of 62 from the top. That was positive. Roston Chase had a runner ball innings as well, 53 from 54. And then King Multi at the back end, again, making it. There's a lot of questions to be asked about Multi. Multi's ball striking as of late in the last, go all the way back to the January series against Pakistan in Tests. Multi's batting and ball striking as of late in the international level. I'm looking at it going, should this guy be batting higher than 8? Because at the moment, I sooner trust Multi before I trust Shepherd, particularly in this with the bat, particularly in this format of the game. So Multi's late hitting at the end, 31 from 18 balls, helped us get up to 280. At the interval, Roston was interviewed and he said our target was 285. So that was even an acknowledgement from them that they were 5 runs short. I'm not convinced that 285 would have been enough. I think we needed to be somewhere near 295 to 300. And certainly when... who knows what would have happened, but when Hope got out at 40.2 overs, Hope got out at 200 for 5. I think a lot of people are like, well, we've probably lost the game now. Not because Hope's the be-all and end-all, obviously he's our best ODI batter, but just more because having done all the hard work, Hope and Chase, to set it up in the back 10, they probably wanted to also marshal the acceleration before Shepherd came in, and maybe Hope got out at the wrong time. He just hit a 4, and then he nicked off to Rizwan trying to hit another expansive shot. And I don't know, it almost brought Shepherd in a bit too early. And then obviously Shepherd only scored 4 runs anyways. And yeah, I don't know. My big critique with our batting is that I thought a lot of the dismissals were soft. King was soft, just chipped one up to extra cover to Babar Azam. Casey Carty plopped one up on a wide leg stump delivery, just plopped one up in the air to Aga Salman. That was soft. Shafane Rutherford, drove one to extra cover. Saeem Ayub took that. That was soft. How did Evan get out? Did Evan just chip one down the ground? I think Evan just chipped one down the ground. So my only concern was that I thought a lot of even Roston got to 50, then chipped one down the ground. Shea, wild shot trying to be expansive, nicked off to Rizwan. My only concern for the top 6 was that a lot of the dismissals were soft. And in the case of Evan, Casey, Shea, Roston, some of them were set and really probably should have pushed on. But then Pakistan might argue the same. Babar's dismissal was soft. Running down, you could say good bowling from Multi, but running down the track at Multi and getting stumped. So Salman Agha's dismissal was soft, just popping one back up to Chase on the court and bowled. So arguably, the Pakistanis might say, yeah, well, our dismissals were soft as well. We had some soft ones in there. I just think it was a difficult pitch to read for both teams. 280 always looked like it wasn't enough, but it wasn't as if Pakistan found the pitch fluent to bat on either. And yes, I'm sure that Pakistani fans will say, yeah, but at the back end, Nawaz hit 63 or 54 and Hussein Talat hit 41 or 37. And I hear that, and that's it. And obviously their partnership was 104 runs. But this is why you have to watch games to find some of the nuances. Nawaz was struggling early doors. I swear at one point he was something like 4 off 17 balls or something like that, and he was struggling to put bat on ball. He popped one up which plugged in the outfield, which on another day gets caught. He nicks off to Multi, gets dropped. On another day he gets caught. Talat, in fairness, was a bit more fluent, but it was not an easy track to bat on. In hindsight, was it a track where you want to win the toss? like Pakistan did and bat second, so you understand the track and how it plays and what you potentially have to do to negotiate the chase? Yes, but I don't want to put too much emphasis on that because we could have won the toss, batted second, and then just collapsed to the Pakistani spinners anyways. So I don't want to put... And yes, there was a due factor. And yes, when we were bowling, we were having to spend a lot of time with the sawdust and having on the popping crease and having to wipe the ball a lot because of the effect of the due factor, which always means it's easier for the team batting second with the grip of the ball and so on and so forth. But I'm not even paying too much attention to that. If we're going to be even more critical of the batting, where you might want to criticize is between overs 11 and 40, where Pakistan basically bowled 95% spin as expected. We went at a run rate of 4.9. Now, bear in mind at the 10 over mark, we were something like 60 something. I think we're 59 for. Let me go back and check actually because I wrote it down at the time. At the 10 over mark, we were 59 for 1. Okay, so we were going fine, 5.9 in the first power play, right? And then in the middle section from overs 11 to 40, the spinners choked us out, as to be expected. Hope and Chase, when Chase came in, after when did Chase come in? Chase came in at the 25th over. And to be fair, Hope and Chase took the game from the 25th over. They batted those 15 overs out and negotiated the spin. They're the best two players of spin in the side. They added 64 runs in those 15 overs. But they may look back at those 15 overs and go, boy, we were only going at 4 point whatever. 4.3, 4.4 in those 15 overs. And yes, it was about trying to set it up for the back end when Hope got out. But I wonder if West Indies will look at that over the next two games and go, okay, we didn't get bowled down by the spin, but we weren't progressive enough, or not aggressive, progressive enough with the spin to dictate the play. It was easy for the Pakistani spinners to just bowl over after over after over. Listen to the spinners' stats. Salman Agha, 10 overs, 1 for 44. He shouldn't be getting away with that. Saeem Ayub, 10 overs, 1 for 48. I'm not convinced. And yes, it was gripping. And yes, they were bowling into the pitch, but I'm not convinced they should be getting away with that. Sufyan Makeem, 10 overs, 1 for 52. The Pacers were the ones who took the wickets, but also went for the runs. But the spinners were able to get away with a lot. Let's look at our spinners. We only had 2. Where's our spinners? Roston Chase, 8 overs, 1 for 41. Going at 5s. Remember the Pakistan spinners. So Ayub went at 4.8. Salman Agha went at 4.4. Sufyan Makeem went at 5.2. Our 2 spinners, Gudakesh Moti was actually the pick of the spinners across the game. 10 overs, 1 for 42. But Roston was good, but 8 overs, 1 for 41. And then the problem is we didn't have another spinner. And there's not another spinner in the squad. I'm looking at the squad now, and is Sammy and his backroom staff looking at the squad and going, we actually need another spinner on this track. There's not another spinner in the squad, right? So we had to bowl more pace overs. Listen to the economies. Jane Seals was all right, to be fair. 10 overs, 1 for 59. Shamar Joseph, basically 10 overs, 2 for 65. JAH Blades, 7 overs, none for 53, going at 7.5s. Most expensive bowler on the day. Romario Shepherd, 4 overs, none for 20. Now, I do want to touch on JAH Blades because at the back end, I think JAH bowled over 48 and 46. That was a brave call to bring JAH Blades at the back end. Now, the positives to that is JAH Blades is a promising youth man, 23 years old. He's done bits and pieces in the first class scene for West Indies Academy, combined colleges and campuses. He's obviously shown a lot of potential. If you look at his list day form, 15 matches in domestic cricket, 31 wickets at 21 apiece. But there is a huge jump from our down bad Super 50 cricket all the way up to international cricket. And admittedly, this is only JAH's second international ODI. Let's focus on the positives. Him coming back to bowl over 46 and 48 is good for him in terms of learning what he's going to have to do at the back end to develop his game. He's certainly been chucked in at the deep end. I don't necessarily blame Sammy and Cole for that, because they need a left arm seamer, and JAH Blades, rightly or wrongly, is probably the next one off the rank in domestic cricket. Me personally, I've said it from the start and I'll keep repeating it. I do not believe that JAH Blades should be anywhere near international cricket at this point in time. I still feel he needs significant A-team cricket. I still think he's got so many things that he needs ironed out, but such is the paucity of talent in the region. Everyone loves to tell me there's so much talent, but such is the paucity of talent that JAH is probably in the squad, at least for me, 1 year. At the bare minimum, he's in the squad 1 year too early, much less he's playing. That's not a criticism of JAH. Respect to the youth man, he's trying his thing, but he's certainly being put into the frying pan to learn his craft, right? But he bowled a good 46th over. 48th over, he got licked down. It's all part of the learning curve, okay? In an ideal world, he wouldn't be in this situation. There'd be other senior left-arm seamers that we could rely on, and JAH wouldn't be in this situation yet at 23 years old, but it is what it is. My bigger concern is actually this. Never mind JAH Blades. My bigger concern is, if I'm Romario Shepherd, I'm looking at the fact that Shai Hope turned to JAH Blades to bowl over 46 and over 48. Now, I'm Romario Shepherd now. I'm 30 years old, nearly turning 31, and I've played 38 ODIs, 63 T20 internationals, right? 79 list day games. And my captain is turning to JAH Blades because, whether it's because it was the right matchup, or regardless of if you thought it was the right matchup, the point is he's turned into a two-match international 23-year-old youth man to bowl over 46 and over 48 before he's turned into Romario Shepherd. If I'm Romario Shepherd, I'm questioning myself. I'm questioning why my captain doesn't believe in me to bowl those overs as the senior guy, right? That's not JAH's fault. I'm not even blaming Hope for it. I'm looking at Romario and saying, where's your game at, my guy? Because why is Shai trusting JAH Blades over you at the back end, right? And JAH, like I say, bowled a good 46, hit his wide Yorkers and choked out Nawaz and Talat in that 46th over. 48th over, licked down, right? Now, yesterday in the Caribbean Cricket Podcast Discord, Osprey and a couple of others posted Romario Shepherd's ODI record. I couldn't believe. This is how much Romario Shepherd has gone under the radar. Romario Shepherd has played 38 ODIs. With the bat, he averages 17. With the ball, he's taken 33 wickets at 41 apiece. Yuck. If I'm Romario Shepherd, if I'm Darren Sammy, if I'm Shai Hope, I'm asking big questions, because that's not good enough. You can't be playing. And again, maybe it speaks to the paucity of talent in the region. And everyone loves to tell me about talent. How is a man batting 7 in our ODI side, averages 17 with the bat and 41 with the ball? Yuck. So questions have to be asked about going forward, and the ODI team has improved. There's no doubt about it that the ODI team has improved, particularly in home conditions. Once upon a time, we would have played that game against Pakistan and we wouldn't even have made 230, much less 280. We wouldn't have taken the game deep to the last 6 balls to defend the 280. So I'm not going to try and pretend like we aren't making incremental improvements, but there are certain things when I'm looking at this squad saying, is that the best we got? And I don't care who wants to take Vex. Take this as something to light a fire up behind you to prove people wrong, because that's not good enough. It's simply not good enough. And Sammy and his backroom staff and the scouts, we got Super 50 coming up in a few months. They need to look at Super 50 and go, is there anyone better? Is there anyone better who can actually play in this so-called number 7 position? I feel like the batting lineup is relatively sorted. We know what our top 6 is, more or less, in ODI international cricket, but that's position number 7. There's question marks about it. Why is Akil Hussain playing in the 100? Why have we never called Akil Hussain back to the ODI side? It don't make no sense to me. Obviously, Alzari Joseph is being rested for workload purposes. He would have been, like, in an ideal world, he would have been in this team, and JAH Blades wouldn't have been, right? But that still leaves Romario at number 7. So I guess it leaves me with this as I wrap up this particular episode. We were at least 10 to 15 runs short. Don't doubt that in the slightest. I would say 10 to 15, right? But at the same time, even if we got those 15 runs, I do look and I want to credit the bowling attack for taking it and being disciplined and chipping away and taking it to the last 6 balls before they lost. But I also looked at our bowling attack, and from the start of the match, even before we posted 280, I think I said in the Discord, we're going to need 300 plus, because I look at the bowling attack, I'm like, I'm not sure we got enough in that bowling attack to restrict Pakistan to under 300. And it's the same for game 2, and it'll be the same for game 3. We don't, and it's not like who's on the bench. We got, Justin Graves could come in. Arguably, Justin Graves should come in instead of Romario Shepherd. Arguably, there's him. Who else is on the bench? Who else is on the bench for our side? Sorry, people. Which bowler was left out? Oh, Johan Lane came in to replace Matthew Ford. Like you can't bring Johan Lane in. So it's the only real change that you could make. Let me find the squad. Can't even find the squad, cuz. 1 second, people. The only real change you could make if you wanted to make a change for the second ODI is you bring in Graves for Romario Shepherd. And that's it. It's not like we've got options to do anything else in terms of bowling. So again, I kind of just look at the bowling and go, boy, we're going to have to, everyone would have to be on the absolute, have the top of their game to restrict Pakistan to under 300 plus. Ideally, in the second game, we win the toss and we bat second, but that doesn't even guarantee anything. Listen, people, you've heard me talk about the Caribbean Cricket Podcast Discord. If you'd like to join that, you have to become a patron. So as well as liking, sharing, subscribing, following us on all the social media handles, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, etc., TikTok, etc., more importantly, if you want to support the Caribbean Cricket Podcast, that's if you don't want to use YouTube, Super Chat, Super Thanks, Buy Me a Coffee, etc., go to www.patreon.com/Carib Cricket. As soon as you become a patron, even if it's at the minimum tier, you get the link into the Discord. That's where the CCP community is, game by game, and that's where you can have these deeper conversations that we tend to have during match time. So yeah, that's been me, people. Little quick recap. I'm not asking you to agree. Obviously, get in the comments below. You done know already. Like, share, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell, and I'll see you all very, very soon.
West Indies Cricket, Caribbean Cricket Podcast. West Indies Cricket, Caribbean Cricket Podcast.